What if I told you that the single most important year in American history wasn't 1776, 1865, or 1941? What if the year that truly defined the America we know today was 1898? It might sound like a bold claim, but stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why 1898 was the year America stepped onto the world stage and never looked back. Before 1898, America was largely an isolationist nation, focused on westward expansion and internal development. We were a regional power, content to follow George Washington's advice to avoid foreign entanglements. But in 1898, a series of explosive events completely rewrote the script. It all started just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, in Cuba. The Cuban people were fighting for independence from Spanish colonial rule. American newspapers, led by giants like William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, engaged in what became known as yellow journalism. They published sensational, often exaggerated stories of Spanish atrocities. Whipping up public sympathy and outrage, the American people started demanding intervention. Then, on February 15, 1898, the USS Maine, an American battleship sent to Havana Harbor to protect U.S. interests, exploded and sank, killing 266 sailors. The press immediately blamed Spain, with headlines screaming, "Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain." Although the true cause of the explosion is still debated by historians today, it might have been an internal accident at the time. It was the final spark. The public outcry was deafening, and President William McKinley, despite his reluctance, was pushed toward war. In April 1898, the United States officially declared war on Spain. What followed was, as one official called it, a splendid little war. It lasted only 10 weeks, but its consequences were monumental. The U.S. Navy, under commanders like Commodore George Dewey, achieved a stunning victory in the Philippines, another Spanish colony, halfway across the world. On land, future President Theodore Roosevelt and his Rough Riders became national heroes for their famous charge up San Juan Hill in Cuba. The war ended with the Treaty of Paris, signed in December 1898. This is where the real transformation happens. Spain ceded Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Guam to the United States. They also sold the Philippines to the U.S. for $20 million. Just like that, America went from being a republic to an empire. For the first time, the U.S. had overseas colonies and millions of colonial subjects. This wasn't just a land grab. It was a fundamental shift in American identity. The debate over imperialism raged across the country. Figures like Mark Twain and Andrew Carnegie formed the Anti-Imperialist League, arguing that controlling other nations went against the very principles of American democracy and freedom. On the other side, proponents of expansion, like Theodore Roosevelt and Senator Albert Beveridge, argued it was America's destiny, our manifest destiny, to spread our institutions and influence across the globe. They saw it as a way to secure new markets for American goods and compete with the great European powers. Ultimately, the expansionists won. The annexation of these territories in 1898 set the stage for the next century of American foreign policy. It led directly to the Philippine-American War, a brutal conflict that lasted for years. It established naval bases across the Pacific, like the one at Pearl Harbor in the newly annexed Hawaii, which would become critically important in World War II. It set the precedent for U.S. intervention in Latin America, shaping the politics of the entire hemisphere. So, why was 1898 the most important year? Because it was the pivot point. It was the year America shed its isolationist past and embraced a new role as a global power. The decisions made in 1898 created the framework for the American century. From the Panama Canal to the World Wars, the Cold War, and our role in the world today, the seeds were all planted in that single, transformative year. 1776 gave birth to the nation, but 1898 defined its place in the world. What do you think? Was 1898 the most crucial year in U.S. history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.